Alright, so starting off on tray 1, we have a bunch of modulation, direct in option. So we'll be running through the Strymon Iridium stereo, and we'll just have it set on the chime, B. As you can see, that are the levels. We got a Maris Enzo, the Spectra, we got the Microcosm, and this Zelza. So we got a bunch of cool stuff going on, and we'll just kind of play through the different sounds so everyone can hear them. So here is the Zelza. The cool thing about the Zelza loop is that I have it set to where it's always on, but we can toggle A or B side at any time. So here's the A side. And the great thing about this is I actually, on the controller, have it set up to do the speed on the actual controller of the GT22. And I'll put up a picture of what the screen looks like up here in this top right corner, so you can actually see it in a minute. So here we go. We got the Zelza. We got the B side. Got the Enzo, which is set to do some funky stuff. So as you can tell, the Enzo is doing, you know, some pretty funky stuff. This guy, it's set real low right now. We'll change what's going on. Some really crazy stuff going. To the drives page. First, we're going to mess with the Bloom compressor. The Bloom is in the insert loop of the mono gizmo, so we can actually access the compression, the EQ, or the Bloom via MIDI. So we got the compressor. Got the EQ. Depending on how he's going to want to have it set, he can, you know what, cut out low end, add low end, whatever you want. And we got the boost. We got the, we'll do the broken arrow next. We got this guy, which is nuts. And it's hooked up MIDI, so it can actually change what it's doing. It's pretty crazy. It does a lot of really crazy stuff. Tremolo, distortion, fuzz. I don't have a lot of knowledge in it, but it's pretty wild. We'll move over to the King of Tone. I'm not a huge shredder, so if I play the same licks, it's mostly so you guys can hear the tones and the same parts. Alright, protein. Automaton, which also is MIDI as well. Alright, we will move on to the modulation tray next. Alright, modulation. We got a few extra goodies in here as well. We got the Mobius. We'll get something. Which I think it's on the envelope. We got the dream sequence. Also set up for MIDI. Everything on this is set up for MIDI. These are mainly going to be used for expression. I have cables going to them. Because we're running so many MIDI devices, we just have to be careful not to overlap MIDI, because then certain things will start controlling at the same time. Alright, we'll move on to our delay section next. Alright, we're going to the delay tab. We got the clean. We got the timeline. Go in here and make sure I got a good pattern for you. Thing about everything in here is that I have a separate external expression page that also has tap control for each of the devices, so he can just tap it from the controller. Photo above for that page, which we'll also talk through later. Got the mood. Let's go through some of these pages. Presets. Tempest. This is by far my favorite patch on the Tempest, just because that the type of ping ponging, that eighth, you know, everything just sounds really nice together. And I'm not doing double notes. Like it's doing everything for me, and it's one of my favorite stock patches. The Violante, which we can change the presets. Playing in the same keys. So we got the Feature Factory, which, as you can see, I have the LEDs turning on for whichever device is being utilized at the time. The only one is the mood that I don't actually right there you can see turns on and off. Timeline it does. The Feature Factory next. Alright, we'll move on to the reverb section next. Alright, this has got quite a few goodies in here. Go to the Ventress, very first one. Can also change the PCs on here. Got the Big Sky, my favorite Big Sky swell patch. We got the H9. It's on a Leslie patch because it's one of my favorite H9 algorithms. I actually got hooked on it from working with Josh Smith, because he uses the H9 for that Leslie all the time, and I absolutely love it. But it also has, you know, I could go up to a shimmer on here. Pair with the Big Sky. The swells. So there's a lot of cool options with that. We got the CMX next. A lot of these CMX settings, a lot of this stuff is his settings that he has for his gigs. So I'm not going to do a lot of saving or tweaking, just so I can respect his settings. Got the Night Sky next. A lot of people ask, and we'll move on to the Chase Bliss demo tray right now, but a lot of people are asking or saying like, oh, this seems like it's a lot, you know, for a rack, or it seems obnoxious or anything. While, you know, for some it might be obnoxious, as a studio rack, it's really helpful, and I've already had a lot of people say the same thing, is that, you know, when you're in the studio or you're working with people and you just need a sound, you don't have to go digging through your drawer, plugging in cables, finding an extra one spot. Here, he has everything. It's going to stay at his house. It's going to connect to his amp Pete switcher that's going to have multiple heads. And it just has a lot of great options to just really get that tone when you need it, without having to get up, put all the stuff down. Because sometimes you may think of a part and you're ready to track it, and then you're like, oh shoot, I need that type of overdrive. Boom, we got it. Boom, I need that reverb, got it. Modulation, you know, it's all there. So that's what the whole basis behind this whole thing was, which is really awesome. So now we'll move on to the Chase Bliss tray, I call it. The first two loops up in the corner here are actually demos. So if I was to click it with the controller, it would do nothing. But we'll go to like the womb tone, warp vinyl, and the gen loss. The blooper is a looper. Everyone knows how that works. But we'll mess with these. I don't know a lot about the gen loss, but I've been told it can do a lot of crazy stuff. Alright, next I'll go do an overview of the controller so you guys can see what we're working with and how everything works together. I will say, just so you can see it, and I posted a video about this today because it was amazing, is I actually have the CMX set up for expression. I have a lot of this stuff set up for expression, and as you can see, the fader right there, up and down, which is super fun to mess with. It's just one of those things that I think is cool to have. I mean, I have Specular Tempest, Mobius, Volante, Timeline, Future Factory, CMX, Big Sky, Tempest, all those kind of parameters that he can access at any time with an expression, or he can just open up the tray and turn the knob. So all right, let's go look at the board now. All right, so looking over the controller, here is the main page. It's the main preset page where combinations can be done, pages or trays can be accessed at any time, banking up and down for songs. He can have song names in here if he wants. It's mostly up to him. But what we got going on is we got presets 1 through 12. We have an expression, save, bank up and down, which you can see. He can go to more songs if he wants. Kind of depending on that. But as you can see, we got tray 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Underneath it has the name Mod 1, drives, Mod 2, delays, reverbs, Chase Bliss. Some would say, why don't you put Mod 1 and 2 next to each other? Because it doesn't line up with how the trays are on the there. This top tray was an add-on, and it was easier. We just kept it at the top. So tray 1, click it. It's not a whole lot on this one, just because there's not a whole lot of stuff. We got the Zelza on and off. We got the Enzo on and off. This micro on and off, and the Spectra on and off, as well as expression 4 and 6 speed, the speed for the expression. Tuners here. We got the home switch, always takes us back to home. And we got our drives page, so you can see his compression, EQ, and boost. So those can be toggled on and off per presets. King tone, protein left and right, broken arrow. The CCs are turning on for the broken arrow, as you can see in the video. So the boost could also be toggled to turn on the boost if he wanted. Since he has so much gain already, I don't suggest it. We got this one, the AY, I call it the AYA because I'm not even trying to pronounce it, and then the Automatone. These both are MIDI controllable as well with presets, up and down, so I have programmed up and downs for him to access. Modulation 2 tray, we got the Mobius up and down, Therme on off, Condor off, and the Dream Sequence on off, as well as a up and down for the Dream Sequence. Cool thing about this is these guys can be paired to the same MIDI channel as these, so when he banks up, it could bank up these at the same time. It's all a matter of preference, and really, like, we won't really know exactly until he's dove in and kind of figure out what he wants to do. All right, so we hit the home button again. We got the delays, which is one of my favorites. We got the timeline, the mood, the Tempest, Volante, and Future Factory, all on-off switches like before. These are all the bank up and downs you can see, down, up, and it says the number that it's on. That is the PC number. So the PC number will tell him. Eventually, you know, this might be able to say names, because you can actually do a CC scroll 1 through 4 and have, like, if you have like me, I would do 4 different, you know, types of reverbs: small, medium, large, and ambient. And I could scroll through that so I know which is which. It only goes up to 4, so if you're going to use more than 4, I don't recommend the CC scroll. Home again. Jump into our reverbs tab. You can see our Ventress, Big Sky, H9, CMX, Night Sky, bank up and down. The great thing about this controller, like I said, everything can be rearranged or moved, or colors can be changed, wording can be changed. That's the glorious thing about the GT22 and any of the RJM series, is that all that can be renamed or recolored. Chase Bliss audio tray, the demo tray. You can see the Gen Loss, the vinyl, the womb tone, the blooper, loop 1 and 2. I put them all in order of which they are in the tray, just to kind of help with aesthetics. Back to home, we got our expression page, which I said can do a whole lot of different stuff. Got the Mobius tap, the Volante tap, the Timeline tap, the Future Factory tap, because there's a Factory A and B tap, so there's 2 tap switches to do both sides, as well as expression and mix control. Same for the TL, which is timeline, time and mix. The V Volante is the mix and the record knob. The Mobius has a speed, and the Spectre has a rate. Big Sky is decay and mix. Tempest has blend. I mean, there's so many CCs available. It's just a matter of, you know, what we want to do. Page 2 of the EXP right here, I click it one time, takes us to another external page. This is basically the H9, because the H9 has all those knobs in a parameter that he can mess with. So actually it's 10, so I put 0 through 9 in here, and he can go through and select and express it. The way that these buttons are set up is when he goes to the next one, it jumps off. That's actually set up across both pages. So none of these are selected until I click it, and then I can express it. But if I go here, it's off of here onto here, and I can express. But when I come from this Future Factory, obviously nothing is connected because they're all in a group, so nothing will stack, and then won't be controlling a ton of stuff at the same time. Jumps to loop to knob 9, can do the expression. Tap tempo as well, directly to the H9, just, you know, for the option of tapping in if he doesn't want to do the expression. Home, it's set up to do the volume loop before the delays and reverbs, but after the overdrives and everything in the modulation. Tuning from here, running a MIDI cable to the controller. It's not 7-pin, it is 5-pin. We are running the GT22 external brick to power this and the volume pedal. That's about it. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. There I have a whole tutorial video on building preset songs and set lists, editing the controller, doing different settings and parameters, everything up on the YouTube channel. So check it out. Have a good one.